After Easter and Passover, in both those stories, darn it, there was still more transformation and rebirthing left to do. Both Easter and Passover are stories of liberation from empire, and both are also stories of rebirth. Passover is literally a journey of an enslaved people escaping their bondage into freedom. And Easter is the story of a people oppressed by empire learning that even the lowest of them, they too are people and they count and deserve to be free. In all ways, people can be free. And both of these stories end with a miracle. And that miracle seems to mark their rebirth in an instant. The Passover story, the Exodus from Egypt, ends with the escaped people getting to a body of water, and through Moses, God separates the water so they can pass through, and then closes the water back down on the army that's pursuing them. And Jesus' story ends tragically with his passing, but before that, it also contains a protest march. Palm Sunday is a protest march. All the people who originally heard and read that story of Jesus going into Jerusalem on the donkey with the palms and everything, that was a not so subtle mockery of the way the Romans paraded themselves in everywhere. And the Roman officials paraded themselves in places. And after Jesus dies, there's a claim from his followers that he's risen again, in whatever way that meant to them or means to us now. But one of the strange things that happened after that was a person who was talking about all this stuff about liberation was done away with by the empire. And for a short time, nobody was saying anything. But within a few weeks, all his followers were out everywhere doing the same teachings again. That's what the Christian church celebrates as Pentecost. And I always think that that was like really the first resurrection, right? People thought they were defeated. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. No, we're not. We can do this too. And they're back. All these stories, Easter and spring and Passover, focus our attention on embracing the possibility of new life and rebirth, especially after periods of difficulty and oppression and even death. Transformation is this rebirth. It's becoming something else, something new. It's an escape to freedom. And most of the time, transformation, rebirth, is not something you can process while it's happening. It's a process, and when it's over, it can sometimes seem to us like the Red Sea parting or the body not being in the tomb, that all of a sudden there's this big change, this big growth. But there's always work in rebirth. All birth involves labor, and some labors are easier than others. And sometimes there are all manner of complications, and it's different for everybody. And each time we renew ourselves, it's also labor. It's also work. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder. Sometimes we remember the whole process as being not so bad, and sometimes we remember it as being as bad as it was, painful and a struggle. But transformation always has some work going on. It just doesn't happen. Stuff is going on. We're learning. There's a process before, during, and after. After Easter and Passover, in both those stories, darn it, there was still more transformation and rebirthing left to do. One of the first things that happens to the Jewish people after Passover is they end up wandering around in the desert for 40 years trying to figure out what to do next. Some of them thought it was so bad they started saying, let's go back to Egypt. Let's go back to Pharaoh. At least we had food and water, even though we were slaves. And they had to have leaders who said, wait a minute, not such a great idea. Let's really remember what that was like. And after the process of Easter, Jesus's followers had to figure out how to be a community without him. And at first, like I said, they disappeared completely. Then they had to organize and reorganize and figure out how to take those teachings on. It's a process. Growth, reflection, action, dreaming, doing, living, dying, being renewed, living, dying, being renewed. It's a cycle. As you know, one of the things I've been doing is learning languages. And one of the insights I've liked about doing this English or language study is that in English, I don't think about the differences sometimes between words we use to mean similar things. But when you're learning a new language, all of a sudden those seem to jump out at you, all the differences in meaning between these new words that you're using. So in English, we use the phrases and words to get up or to wake up. And we can use them interchangeably. But in Spanish and Portuguese, the two things I've been learning, they have different words. It's actually the same word in both languages, which is very helpful. 92% lexical similarity. Might as well learn them both at the same time. One is despertar or despertarse, to wake up. The sleeping is over. And the other is levantar or levantarse, which is to get up, the rising. Your eyes open, then the body gets up. That transformation from night to morning is a two-part process. We wake up and then we get up. It's like the reflection and action cycle that we need to transform. Both are needed for a rebirth process. We have to both wake up, we get that enlightenment, that new knowledge, that learning, and then we have to physically put it into action. We have to get up and do something with it. Working against an injustice, making some real improvement in the world around us, doing some advocacy, whatever it is that goes with the learning. And that will give us more learning, which will spur more action, which will teach us more things, which will encourage us to act yet again, and on and on. And this ongoing process of transformation is a leap of faith. While it's happening, you have to trust it's going to be worth it. Sometimes have to let go of the outcome you want and be willing to trust that the outcome that happens, even though maybe something else, will be good. Something perhaps we needed that we didn't see when we started the process. And transformation can be filled with anxiety because while we're doing the work, while we're in process, we hope for a positive outcome. We hope to be better than we were. We hope to grow. We hope to feel renewed and refreshed. But while we're going through the process, our minds get stuck in the fears and the anxieties that come up along the way. One of the things that happens to me is my train of thought starts careening down the rails of worst case scenarios. And I have to remind myself, it's not real yet. It's just in here. Breathe. It's common to imagine terrible possibilities. Humans are awesome at anxiety. If it was always a good thing, we'd be champions. But it's an evolutionary defense mechanism that's kind of gone haywire since we don't need to be afraid of the saber-toothed monsters trying to eat us 24/7 anymore. In order to get to that promised land, like the oppressed people leaving Egypt, we have to always embrace the possibility that this transformational process, this rebirth, is going to work. It's going to succeed. We have to remember not to get stuck imagining the disasters. And I think we can go through days right now in our MAGA fascist era, conjuring up all types of worst case scenarios of where this goes. Genuinely the stuff of political post-apocalyptic nightmares. But what if we imagine the possibility of the rebirth and the resurrection and the promised land? What if another good reality is possible? Can we embrace that? Can we embrace that possibility? Can we trust that that possibility is going to be where the rebirth and the transformation leads? In a poem she called Vahata, and she posted to her blog about 10 years ago, Aurora Levins Morales says, "Imagine winning. This is your sacred task. This is your power. Imagine winning. Every detail of winning. The exact smell of the summer streets in which no one's been shot. The muscles you have never unclenched from worry, gone soft and relaxed as a newborn. The sparkling taste of food when we know that no one is hungry anymore. Lean with all your being toward that day when the poor of the world shake down a rain of good fortune out of the clouds and justice does roll down like waters. Defend the world in which we win," she writes, "as if it were your child, because it is your child. Defend the world in which we win as your lover, because it is your lover." And this is the reason why those of us in the Connecticut Interreligious Witness wrote our letter to ICE, because we want them to imagine winning too. Not a victory over imagined and made up enemies and othered others. We told them, we see you trying to hide from us. We see all the hurt and pain you cause, and we still wonder who you are. What must have happened to you that you can hurt other people like this? We don't want you to hurt other people, and we don't want you to hurt. So, in the name of God, stop. And last Monday, while three of us, we had about 36 of us gathered at the federal building, 3 of us went inside to try and deliver this letter to ICE. And while they were inside, the rest of us, almost 36 of us left, stood outside and sang. And one of the things we sang was, "It's okay to change your mind." Oh, it's okay to change your mind. Show us your courage. Leave this behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind, and you can join us here anytime. It's okay to change your mind. Courage, leave this behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind, and you can join us here anytime. One more time, come on. It's okay to change your mind. Show us your courage, leave this behind. Oh, it's okay to change your mind. You can join us here and yeah. Aurora Levins Morales finishes her poem saying, "Imagine war is a scarcely credible rumor. That the crimes of our age, the grotesque inhumanities of greed, and the sheer and astounding shamelessness of it, the vast fortunes made by stealing lives, the horrible normalcy it came to have, is unimaginable to our heirs. The generation of the free. Don't waver. Don't let despair sink its sharp teeth into the throat with which you sing. Escalate your dreams. Let them burn so fiercely you can follow them down any dark alleyway of history and not lose your way. Make them burn clear as a starry drinking gourd over the grim fog of exhaustion, and keep walking. Hold hands, share water, keep imagining, so that we and the children of our children's children may live. Imagine winning. Imagine for all of us, the woke and the asleep, those of us taking action against injustice and oppression, and the oppressors too, because that's what it's going to look like when we win. It's rebirth. It's renewal. It's regeneration. It's resurrection. It's the promised land. That's the place we win. Check out my website and blog at tonylorenzen.com for even more resources that will open your mind, touch your heart, and inspire your spirit.